May 4th, 1945. The Bavarian Alps. The war was only days from ending. A jeep carrying soldiers from the U.S. 101st Airborne Division, the famous Band of Brothers, climbed a steep, winding mountain road. The air was thin. The view was breathtaking. Snow-capped peaks stretched as far as the eye could see. But the soldiers weren't looking at the view. They were staring at a tunnel carved into the side of the mountain. A massive bronze door stood open. They walked inside. It was cold, damp, silent. And at the end of the tunnel, they found something that looked completely out of place. An elevator. Not just any elevator. The walls were covered in polished brass that gleamed like gold. The seats were upholstered in green leather. Mirrors lined the walls. Dirty, exhausted American soldiers stepped inside. The elevator carried them nearly 400 feet up through the heart of the mountain. When the doors opened, they stepped into Adolf Hitler's private world. The Eagle's Nest, the Kielstein House, the tea house built on top of the world. They looked around. They saw the massive fireplace, a gift from Mussolini. They saw expensive carpets. They saw the panoramic view Hitler claimed gave him the power of a god. One American sergeant sat down in Hitler's favorite chair. He propped his muddy boots on the polished table, lit a cigarette, and smiled. "Boys," he said, "I think we just won the war." But the Eagle's Nest was only the appetizer. Down below, in Hitler's main residence, the Berghof, another group of American soldiers had found the real prize. They found the cellar, and inside it were 10,000 bottles of the most expensive wine and champagne in Europe. This is the true story of how American soldiers drank Hitler's champagne, stole his silverware, slept in his bed, and delivered the ultimate insult to the Nazi regime. To understand the chaos, you have to understand the race. By May 1945, everyone knew Hitler was in Berlin. But rumors spread that he had a final fortress in the Alps, the Alpine Redoubt. Every Allied unit wanted to be the first to capture it. Whoever took Hitler's mountain home captured the ultimate symbol of the Third Reich. 2 American divisions were racing for the prize: the 3rd Infantry Division, the Rock of the Marne, and the 101st Airborne Division, the Screaming Eagles. The French 2nd Armored Division was racing too. They weren't fighting Germans anymore. They were fighting traffic. The mountain roads were jammed with tanks, trucks, and jeeps. Everyone wanted to be first. One officer later joked, "Everyone wanted to be the first to pee on Hitler's lawn." General O'Daniel of the 3rd Infantry Division blocked the road to slow the French. He told his men, "Get up that mountain. I don't care how. Just beat the French and beat the paratroopers." It was a free-for-all. By the time the first Americans arrived, the German guards were gone. The SS had burned parts of the Berghof before fleeing, but the main structure still stood. There was no tactical sweep. The soldiers ran straight for the doors. They weren't looking for Nazis. They were looking for souvenirs. Inside, they found the Great Hall where Hitler had planned invasions of Poland and France. The massive picture window was shattered. Snow blew in. But the furniture was still there. The grand piano, the tapestries, the globe. A soldier walked up to Hitler's portrait hanging above the fireplace. He pulled out his knife, cut Hitler's face right out of the painting. He said, "I'm taking this home to my mom." Then, discipline collapsed completely. It wasn't organized looting. It was a frenzy. Swastika banners were ripped off the walls. Vases were smashed. Leather sofas were slashed with bayonets. Not for profit, for hatred. Every man there had lost friends. They had marched through concentration camps. They wanted to destroy everything Hitler touched. Then someone found the basement stairs, and the mood shifted from rage to celebration. Beneath the Berghof was a vast complex of bunkers and storage rooms. The soldiers kicked open a heavy wooden door and froze. Floor to ceiling, row after row, wine, champagne, cognac, scotch, the finest collection in Europe. stolen from France, from Italy, from the world's greatest vineyards. There were bottles of 1920s champagne, cases of rare Napoleon brandy. Hitler didn't drink alcohol, but he kept it for guests, and now his guests had arrived. Word spread instantly. They found the booze. Soldiers ran back to their tanks. They grabbed canteens, jerry cans, helmets, anything that could hold liquid. They smashed bottlenecks against the wall and drank straight from them. Champagne foamed across the floor. Red wine soaked into Nazi carpets. A sergeant from the 101 later said, "We were drinking wine that cost $100 a bottle, like it was water. I washed my socks in it because I could." While some drank, others hunted for souvenirs. In the dining room, cupboards were filled with silver, plates, forks, knives, each stamped with AA and the Nazi eagle. Soldiers stuffed silverware into their pockets, backpacks filled with Hitler's plates, crystal glasses wrapped in socks. One soldier found a silver tea set given to Hitler for his 50th birthday. He crushed the teapot with his boot so it would fit in his bag. They found Hitler's stationery. Soldiers sat at his desk and wrote letters home. "Dear Mom, I'm writing this from Hitler's desk. We beat the bastard." The dictator who wanted to rule the world was now providing writing paper for farm boys from Kansas. While chaos ruled the Berghof, the 101st Airborne reached the Eagle's Nest above. Unlike the main house, it was untouched. They rode the gold elevator. Inside, the rooms were elegant, quiet. Exhausted paratroopers lay down on rugs, sofas, even tables. American soldiers sleeping where Hitler entertained kings. They opened the liquor cabinet, found cognac, poured drinks. To the Führer, they joked, "Thanks for the hospitality." In the linen closets, they found tablecloths with Nazi crests. They cut them into pieces. Everyone wanted a swastika to take home. The most personal invasion happened in the bedrooms. In Eva Braun's room, soldiers found silk nightgowns and lingerie. Rough American soldiers laughed, holding them up like trophies. In Hitler's bedroom, one soldier lay down on the bed. "It's a little hard," he said, "but it'll do." He took a nap. When he woke up, he carved into the headboard. Kilroy was here. It was childish, petty, and powerful. Eventually, the French arrived. Furious they were late, they stormed the wine cellar. The Americans had taken the top layer. The French dug deeper. They found the real treasures, 1900 vintages, rare Bordeaux stolen from Paris. Some French soldiers cried. "He stole this from us," they said. "Now we take it back." For hours, the mountain became a drunken Allied celebration. The nightmare was over. The next morning, officers tried to restore order. It was impossible. Glass everywhere, furniture smashed, floors sticky with wine. And yes, some soldiers urinated in the fireplace. When senior commanders arrived, they were shocked, but no one was punished. General Eisenhower visited days later. He saw the destruction. He understood. The men needed police, and Hitler deserved it. Today, the Eagle's Nest is a restaurant. Tourists admire the view, but the Berghof is gone, blown up in 1952 to prevent neo-Nazi worship. Still, if you dig in the soil nearby, you can find broken glass, remnants of the wildest victory party in history, the day the band of brothers drank the devil's wine and laughed in his face. If you enjoyed this story, hit subscribe. We tell the real history, the kind that reminds you why the good guys won. Comment below. If you found Hitler's wine cellar, what would you have done? Thanks for watching.